Have you ever felt lost in life, as if you're wandering aimlessly, unsure of your purpose or direction? This is a feeling that haunts many of us, casting long shadows over our lives. It's like being in the midst of a forest with no compass, no map, and no clear path to follow. A sense of being adrift, of drifting through life rather than living it. This feeling of being lost is not exclusive to anyone. It's a universal experience, and it's particularly prevalent among men who are expected to be strong, to be leaders, to know the way. But what happens when the path is unclear, when the destination is unknown? The struggle is real, but so is the possibility of finding your way, of discovering your purpose, your direction. You are not alone in this journey. Today we will explore a story of a man who felt exactly as you might do now, lost and unsure, but eventually found his way. Meet John, a man who, like many, felt lost and disconnected from his life. John had always been an average guy, living an average life. He had the standard 9-to-5 job, a loving wife, and 2 beautiful children. From the outside looking in, one might say John had it all. But inside, John was grappling with a sense of emptiness, a feeling of aimlessness that left him feeling disconnected from the world around him. Every day he woke up, got dressed, went to work, came home and went to bed, only to repeat the cycle again the next day. His life was on autopilot, and he felt like a mere spectator, watching the days slip by without any sense of purpose or direction. John could see the joy and passion in the eyes of others, but he couldn't feel it himself. He felt like he was wandering in a fog, unable to see the path in front of him. He was lost in a sea of confusion, with no compass to guide him. Despite his outward success, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was missing something essential, something that gave life meaning and purpose. He felt stuck, trapped in a life that no longer felt like his own. His heart yearned for something more, something that would ignite his spirit and bring a spark back into his life. This internal struggle wore on John, sapping his energy and leaving him feeling more lost with each passing day. He knew he couldn't continue down this path, but he didn't know how to change it. He was desperate for a way out of the fog, for a way to find his purpose. One day he found himself looking in the mirror, wondering who the man staring back at him was. He barely recognized himself. He knew he needed to do something, anything, to find his way back to himself, to find his purpose. But John wouldn't remain lost forever. His journey was just beginning. The turning point in John's life came unexpectedly, as it often does. There he was, stuck in a rut of monotony, living each day just like the one before. But life has its way of shaking us awake, doesn't it? It's as if the universe itself conspires to pull us out of our comfort zones and push us towards our true destinies. For John, this turning point was not a grand event or a catastrophic incident. It was a simple yet profound moment of realization. While sitting in his small cubicle one afternoon, he found himself looking at a picture of a mountain range he'd once visited. He remembered the sense of freedom he'd felt standing at the peak, the world spread out beneath him. He remembered the thrill, the joy, the sense of being fully alive, and he realized with a sudden clarity that he hadn't felt that way in a long time. This was his turning point, the moment he realized that he was not living but merely existing. He understood that he was lost, not because he didn't have a direction, but because he had forgotten what it felt like to have a purpose. He had allowed his life to become a series of tasks, forgetting to seek joy, forgetting to live. This realization was like a bolt of lightning. It shocked him, scared him, but it also ignited a spark within him. It stirred a desire to change, to seek out that joy and freedom he once knew. He decided then and there to break free from the chains of monotony, to step out of his comfort zone, and to find his purpose. John's life had reached a crossroads. He could have chosen the easy path, the familiar path, but he chose the road less traveled. He chose to seek, to explore, to live. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of John's transformation. It was the moment he stopped being lost and started finding his way. It was the moment he chose life over existence. It was the moment he found his purpose. Found his? From that moment, John began to see his life through a different lens. He started to realize that he had been on a track predetermined by societal expectations and pressures. He decided to step off this treadmill and began to march to the beat of his own drum. With a spirit of determination kindled within him, John started to explore what truly mattered to him. He began to seek knowledge, not for the sake of appearing smart, but to satisfy his own curiosity. He took risks, not to impress others, but to challenge himself, to grow. His journey was not a straight path. There were detours and roadblocks, moments of doubt and despair. But each time he stumbled, he picked himself up, dusted off, and forged ahead. He began to understand that finding his way was not about reaching a destination, but about the journey itself. It was about living in alignment with his authentic self. John's journey wasn't easy, but he found his way, his purpose, and ultimately his happiness. John's story is not unique. Many men find themselves lost in life, searching for meaning and purpose. It's a common narrative, a shared experience that resonates with many. But the beauty of this narrative is in its potential for transformation. Feeling lost is often the first step towards finding one's way. It's the discomfort that pushes us to seek, to question, to explore. It's the catalyst that fuels the journey towards self-discovery and purpose. John's story serves as a reminder that feeling lost isn't a sign of weakness or failure. Rather, it's an integral part of the human experience, a stepping stone towards growth and self-fulfillment. Yes, 90% of men may feel lost at some point in their lives. But remember, every journey begins with a single step. Every transformation starts with a moment of self-realization. And every man, just like John, has the power to turn the tide. Remember, it's never too late to find your way. Just like John, you have the power to change your life and find your purpose.